Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub, your ultimate home for Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and exclusive updates. From breaking stories to behind-the-scenes action, we've got every red covered. Subscribe now and never miss a move from Anfield. Alexander Isak and Mohamed Salah demands made as new Liverpool key man named He's the One. While the perception of a new look, Liverpool frontline department suggests it has been a struggle for Arne Slot. The Premier League champions only have one goal fewer than at the same stage last season. Back then, Slot's side were riding high, just a point behind leaders Manchester City, with 17 scored after 9 games. Liverpool entertained Aston Villa on Saturday night, having registered 16 goals so far this term, after the same amount of fixtures, but the 5 shipped at the other end in 2024 is, alarmingly now up to 14 such. A porous backline sees the Reds enter the weekend in 7th, and they could find themselves 10 points behind table-topping Arsenal by the time the 8 p.m. kickoff gets underway at Anfield. Slot will be without Alexander Isak for the visit of Villa as the 125-meter man continues to recover from a groin injury picked up in the 5-1 champions. League less win at Eintracht Frankfurt than a fortnight ago, but Hugo Ekitike, whose 70-90-meter arrival in the transfer window preceded that of Isak, is expected to return to the team after the head coach made 10 changes for the Carabao Cup exit at the hands of Crystal Palace France International. Ekitike has been the player whose adaptation period to life at Liverpool has been most impressive from the raft of summer signings that cost the club close to 450, and with 6 goals already, the former Frankfurt star is the club's top scorer across all competitions. I like his willingness to work hard, says Reds' 2001 treble winner Emil Heskey. I like his runs and his willingness to run in behind. I love the fact that he's got an eye for a goal, and he's not scared to take players on. And I think he's the one that's going to feel hard done by when it comes to not playing, because he's actually the one who started very well out of all the forwards. He's the one. And when I say forwards, I mean all of them as well. Across the front 3, I think he's the one who's really started the best. Alongside Cody Gakpo probably as well. But I think Ekitike's been a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. Again, you don't know what's going to happen when you're bringing a young lad through, and they're from another country as well. For Isak, the wait to catch fire following his British record move from Newcastle United goes on. The striker did open his account in the Carabao Cup victory over Southampton in September, but the lack of a proper pre-season, owing to his acrimonious exit from Tyneside, has left him playing catch-up, which has had a knock-on effect for his fitness. Heskey adds, in an exclusive interview with the Echo via Dream Vegas, I think it's very important to get a good preseason in, especially with a new team, a new understanding of how to play, and what sort of intensity is needed. Now we know he's had a bit of a groin issue. That makes sense with his lack of ability to move around as sharply as we've seen before. The thing is, we need him back to 100%, not 50%, not 60%. So I think he's got to think about taking his time and getting right back into the shape that we need him to be into pushing on, because we've seen how good he is, we've seen what he can do, but now we need to see it in a red shirt. Heskey scored 22 times for Liverpool in the 2001 season when they won the UEFA Cup, League Cup and FA Cup, and the former England international was part of a squad that saw a lot of rotation in the front line, with manager Gerard Houllier also able to call upon Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen, and Jari Litmanen, who moved to Anfield midway through that campaign. Heskey says he understands the need to chop and change to keep the marksmen fresh, stating, the toughest thing in getting the best out of the squad is keeping them hungry. You've got 2 to 3 options in each position, and that keeps you on your toes. That keeps you hungry. That keeps you fighting. That keeps you wanting to be the best because you know that there's someone in the wings wanting to take your place. So, I think that's one of the places that you can have real competition at this moment in time. Isak and Ekitike, them two are competing for each other. It would be nice if they could play 2 up front together, but at the minute they're great competition for each other. The additions of Isak and Ekitike, alongside the 106-meter Florian Wirtz, following the summer sales of Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, means Mohamed Salah is adapting, once more, to a changing Liverpool landscape up top and having to establish new relationships with colleagues as a result. The Egyptian has scored 4 times this term, but has been generally viewed as enduring a tough run when judged by the sort of standards that saw him finish as high as fourth in the recent Ballon d'Or awards. Yeah, that is tough at times adapting to new teammates, Heskey says. The interesting thing is it them understanding him, or is it him understanding them? He's been the one that's actually been there for us for the longest and a proven goal scorer, proven performer. At this moment in time, Salah's not giving that much, so he needs to understand both sides. I think both sides need to understand each other. I think for Mo, we need to see a bit more of the Mo of old, a bit more involvement in the games, a bit more danger on the ball. Not just out-and-out goals, but involvement and being a threat at every given time. There were no winners in Alexander Isak. Liverpool transfer saga. I believe in karma. Tim Krul believes Alexander Isak's below-par start to his Liverpool career is karma for the way he forced his way out of Newcastle United. The Sweden international essentially went on strike to ensure the Magpies would follow through on alleged promises to let him leave St. James Park. The striker trained on his own for the majority of the summer and failed to feature for Newcastle throughout pre-season. As a result, he was left playing catch-up after belatedly completing a British record 125-mailer switch to Liverpool on transfer deadline. Isak is yet to live up to his hefty price tag, though, following his disjointed summer, and has returned just 1 goal and 1 assist from his first 8 appearances for the Reds. Yet to score in the Premier League, he is set to miss Liverpool's clash with Aston Villa on Saturday because of a groin injury, having been forced off at half-time in the Reds' Champions League win over Eintracht Frankfurt earlier this month. Former Newcastle goalkeeper Krul insists there were no winners in the Isak transfer saga, though he is glad to see his former club move on without the forward, with his replacement, Nick Woltemade, taking no time to settle at St. James's Park, and having seen Marc Guéhi enjoy a strong season for Crystal Palace to date after not forcing through his own move to Liverpool. Krul pointed to karma when offering his take on Isak's struggles. There were no winners in that situation, he said on TalkSport, as quoted by Newcastle World. It's a shame it took that long to sort. I think Eddie Howe wanted his squad to be complete a lot earlier, and it has. Especially you could see the start of Newcastle, the first few games, they didn't score. And you could see there was a transition moment there. But $125 million for a player is a good deal. So everybody should be, you know what, we'll move on. We've got a great bit of money, we'll sign some top players to replace him. The generation has changed a bit. I wouldn't have liked a player to play this kind of act. Reading the interviews after, I think there was a kind of respect to the player. It should have been dealt differently. For me, I believe in values and karma. I think you know how you treat people, you get paid back. Marc Guéhi is a captain, he's a role model, and he will get his move. That will set him in great stead, hopefully, for the World Cup. Isak is also at risk of missing out on World Cup qualification with Sweden, with his country bottom of their qualification group ahead of the November international break, while Liverpool have dropped to 7th in the Premier League table after losing 6 of their last 7 games in all competitions.